I'll request night back.
I formally request night.
Can we dress up as Britney's in various Britney stages?
I don't have any outfit like that.
Brittany doesn't wear cargo pants.
I saw Britney wearing cargo pants, so I wore cargo pants.
I actually think in the Sometimes video she has on cargo pants and a crop top.
I
also
did not have a red leather catsuit.
It's also the video where that girl picks the front wedgie.
Let me demonstrate. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Ooh. She did wear wide-leg denim cargo pants, a pink fur coat, and a roost embroidered top in October 17th, 2023. Cargo pants are in style.
Because of you.
Well, according to someone, they're practical and comfortable design.
Did Mama write that?
I literally made Allie a video. I said I understand how cargo pants came back because when you're in Japan, you have no trash cans around. So you need trash pockets when living in Japan because there's nowhere to throw it away.
New code name. Trash pocket.
I am ahead of my time.
Hey, welcome to Put It on the Agenda. Today we are talking about what's been happening recently, a little catch up over our South Africa adventures, highs and lows, our Bridgerton-esque escape, as well as excursions, the highs, the lows, and the what the fuck did we get ourselves into. So yeah, join us for this episode of Put It on the Agenda.
Expressing my excursion glands.
Back to Put It on the Agenda. Welcome to episode 3.
Is this episode 3?
This is episode 3.
Where business is booming.
Really?
Still Africa adjacent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But now
we're at
we've
sea.
touched on it.
We're on
Yes.
the other
We're in the
side.
Atlantic now.
Yeah, we're on the west coast of Africa now. We've just crossed the equator, so we're back in the northern hemisphere. And it's been a hot minute. So what's been happening? We last did this when we were around Mauritius.
Madagascar.
Boo.
Big
Piss.
tomato,
Julian,
tomato.
my beloved.
But we went to Reunion Island
Mm-hmm.
and then South Africa, where you all had grand adventures, which we
Yes.
want to hear about.
Yeah, we had a good
So talk about it.
Who wants to start rock,
You.
paper, scissors?
Okay.
Is the winner talking first? Or
Oh, I thought the loser was talking.
Oh, I thought the winner.
Oh.
So I was trying to force this thing.
Well, you guys rock, paper, scissors to see who talked first, the winner and the loser.
what?
I'll go
guys.
first.
I don't have to. I did nothing. And I mean,
No, I'm saying you and Andrew rock, paper, scissors to see which one of us talks first.
I pick you talking first. I'm just putting you on the
I
spot.
would just go.
Sacrifice.
It's already here.
Oh.
What
I know that.
You didn't even cough the way you like people to cough. Hypocrite.
That was a throat clear, bitch.
Take me through a vampire cough. It's not a dab.
Is it to get
It
your
is a
cape
dab.
out of the way?
So you vampire cough, that way you don't spread germs, and everyone needs that reminder apparently.
On board.
In South Africa, we got off at the first port, which was Port Elizabeth, and flew to Cape Town so we would spend more time there. And it was lovely.
What'd you get up to in Cape Town?
What did we not get up to in Cape Town? We...
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Wow. The way you said that.
I'm gonna check on wow.
I'm Nuzay Crowley. Here with my report of Cape Town. I did everything.
This bar has everything. That's Bill Hader as Stefan, the gay guy. Just like, this club has everything. Okay, so me and Ami got our hair done. Gustav
Looks
and-
lovely, by
Thank
the way.
you. Thank you.
Very jealous.
She actually did a really good job. I won't say I was apprehensive. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, because obviously, so I was watching the videos.
Mm-hmm.
How does ordering food into a salon work? Because every salon I've been to does not do that.
Okay.
So that's why I was like,
I have
how
two
does this work?
responses to this.
People won't tell Ami no.
Well, the muffins and the croissants that they gave us were already in the salon. Like, they bought them from
Okay.
Woolworths and just had them. So
Intriguing.
they just bring them out to you.
Which, love Woolworths, by the way.
Yes, love Woolworths. But when I worked at a salon, we would order food all the time. DoorDash just shows up, or I would walk down the street in foils or in my apron and be like, hey, we want this, 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 and this. The people next door got so used to seeing people in foils walk over in capes, they knew there was a hair salon next door.
Never have I ever done that.
You should.
Like-
It will change your hair game.
Well, because when I get my nails done, I get like the little drinks.
Yes.
So like that's it. But I'm like, when my hair's being cut, maybe I don't want.
Well, it's
drinks.
not so much for when you're getting a haircut, but when you're getting a full color service
Yes.
and you're there for hours,
Tell me about it.
while you're processing, there's no reason you can't walk over to Subway or whatever.
I also want to know if it's because I go to a salon where I know everyone, so we just talk for the entire time.
That's
instead.
fair.
How long did your hair appointment last that you needed food?
Oof. Gustav tried to warn us that hair appointments in South Africa take way longer, but I think it's because they're so thorough. It was probably the most thorough hair appointment I've ever had, to be
What did
honest.
they do? Walk us through it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got there, and they're like, there's a little bit of product built up on your hair, so we're going to go ahead and shampoo and blow dry you. So I was very fresh right from the jump, and that took a good 30, 45 minutes. At home, they'd be like, you get what you get. You didn't clean your hair, so if your highlights don't go all the way up, that's on you. And you're like, cool.
You don't go in with a clarifying shampoo the night before?
I do sometimes, but I'm a dry shampoo abuser.
Ah.
So
see.
I only wash my hair like 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, interesting. I wash mine every night.
We've talked about. Oh,
I didn't
I'm
wash
about every
mine
other
for
day.
years.
Was
We
it when
never
it
washed.
was it when it was short?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Once it got long, I started having to wash it more.
No, I wash mine every night.
You know.
Really?
Yes.
Do you blow dry or you just let it?
No, I let it dry. I sleep on it, which I know you're not supposed to.
Oh, I do.
I do
all.
all-
It
but-
saves on heat damage.
I do put a towel on my pillow though, because then my pillow's not damp.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
fair.
go to sleep with like the topsy turvy thing in my hair, and then usually halfway through it's like falling out, and I rip it off and throw it on the floor.
That's fair.
Classic.
But after that, then we did a full consultation about what I wanted, what kind of tones I liked. She made me show pictures, and then she highlighted, and I honestly fell asleep because I was so tired.
Oh, I mean,
But-
7 hours.
Ami's hair took 7 hours, but her hair is extremely long, and she likes to be platinum, so it was a very long process. But after that, Gustav and Andrew had picked up McDonald's, so we tried a South African treat. It was spicy tenders, which were really good.
Which like,
They're like nachos.
Yeah, it was like
yeah,
a
it's
nacho
like a
chicken
nacho
tender
chicken
from
tender.
McDonald's.
Here's the thing, though. It's not like necessarily South African because it was brand new to McDonald's in South Africa. I don't know where all this
I'm
product is going
hoping and praying it's in the States.
because it's
They were
really
delicious.
good.
I just like the tiny forks.
Yeah, they give you like a
Tiny
little
forks are
tiny
fun,
cheese
yeah.
fork to eat it with. But after that, we went to the V&A. They took us to the promenade to like walk at sunset, which was just absolutely
That was
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Went
One of my
to-
favorite sunsets
ever. It was
Yeah.
just, it felt like a movie because everything was just so beautiful and we were just so happy to be there. It was seriously so much fun. I will say, everyone talked about, how dangerous or how unsafe it is. I never personally felt unsafe, but I knew that it was not a safe place to be in, if that makes sense. Like, you have to be aware. But I didn't feel more at risk of anything happening to me than I would in Atlanta or
Yeah, depending on where you're at.
depending on where we were. But we also stayed with locals. We were in by sundown.
Yeah, we still were safe. But
Well, we were still safe. But I didn't feel like I didn't have any scary experiences in South Africa.
That's good.
I got
but-
LRB like right here.
It was
But
like waited.
Andrew
Classic.
and Gustav golfed. We
Yeah.
went to the V&A waterfront. Then we took a tour with everybody when the ship finally caught up.
Went on the Gus
So
bus.
fun. So
Yes,
South Africa
ma'am.
was seriously one of my favorite things ever. And I cried the day we got back on the ship because I loved it and didn't want to leave.
That's fair.
It
That's
was
valid.
perfect.
It
It
was
really
so
was just. Plus, it's fall, so it was
Mm.
cool weather. It was just everywhere you looked was stunning views. Can't recommend Cape Town enough. Like a little rat over there.
I know, just like a little water bottle, like.
Then
Oh my god.
I
so we don't
legitimately
say-
thought
Install in your
about
room.
like installing one sometimes.
Just like a camelback that you just like have the hose. there.
No, like just like an actual
ball.
one.
You gotta get
Yeah.
a big ball. Like that's part of the thing.
Have you never done those like plastic ones where you can like run down the hill,
Absolutely.
like run on water?
I want to do one. Zorby.
Anyway, yeah, it's open.
No, I did the soccer one, like the bubble soccer.
that you like bonk into people.
Yeah, that was
That's
fun.
fine. No, at my county fair, they had like a one where it was like human sized plastic one, and
Right.
you would like try to walk on water in it.
So fun.
So fun.
I feel like I would get very sick in that.
Yeah, I feel
car
like it'd
sick.
be really warm.
You can't move because you can't
okay.
get traction to
Yeah.
go anywhere, so they have to come with big sticks.
Oh
and
no!
roll you
See,
back.
that would be my worst nightmare.
It's
Yeah,
good. It was
I
like
don't think I would like
$10 for 10 minutes, which is like a very high price point.
$1 a minute. It's
But
crazy.
at minute 2, you're like, get me out of here.
Get me out. So, how was your South African experience?
My South African experience. It was phenomenal. We love it. We got out of Port Elizabeth and we drove like an hour and a half, I think, north.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to a safari. We went to the River Lodge. So it was good. It was good. I like the pause.
Like,
It was really cute. I loved sections of everything. Like
Mhm.
some areas you could see tons of animals.
yeah.
Real talk. There was 10 rooms,
Mm-hmm.
but the views of each of the rooms were not equal.
Mm.
So that's where like the pause came in.
Okay.
So
Did you guys have a good view? Of
we had arguably the third best view.
Okay.
Okay,
We love
yeah.
that for you.
But when you only have 10 rooms, they should all be equal for the price point you're asking.
I agree.
Because the person above us had a direct view to the watering hole.
Hmm.
And then
Because you, like, maybe typically the hotel charges different amounts for those rooms, but you all paid the same to Royal.
Right.
they all pay the same amount for each room.
All the time.
And it's just like sheer
Love
love.
the draw.
So there are 2 rooms that are on the second floor,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else is ground floor. And only one ground floor has a view out, which is what we had. The other views
was my
either
view.
face towards the lodge or towards the road.
That's annoying.
So like
That would
not
make me mad if I paid that much.
exactly, and like so it was okay because we like saw animals
Mhm.
right outside our window, which was like
That's so
super cool. But then our neighbors upstairs were like, "Oh my god, there are giraffes in the watering hole, and we could see them, but we couldn't see them."
Was it who I'm thinking of?
It
Okay.
was so much as I like we weren't that upset.
Yeah.
But other than that, the food was incredible. The people were amazing. The safaris themselves, so cool. We saw like elephants. We saw tons of giraffes, a huge amount of impalas. We saw all of the big 5. We saw like the fattest rhino I've ever seen in my life.
Did you love him?
I did love him. I like hippos even more, and we did get to see hippos.
Moto.
I adore hippos. I know they're like the most dangerous animal on
Yeah.
Earth.
It fits.
They're
Except
legitimately
mosquitoes.
scary.
Yes.
Yeah, mosquitoes kill more people in Africa.
Yes, but after mosquitoes come hippos because they can run 35 miles an hour.
That's crazy
Who
that
would
they're
think?
just running underwater.
Oh yeah,
They're just
no, and on land
ripping.
Because they can't swim. They
they
only
can't
run.
swim.
Yeah,
they
they
sink.
only run. That's insane.
So funny.
So they sink like if you and
They
Andrew,
sink
if
like
you
a
and
rock.
Andrew sink to the bottom of the pool and take off running. That's
No, it's incredible to like. watch
Allie's
the
referring to
video.
the fact that Andrew and I cannot float, where she and LRB can.
Oh, I flew.
They're extremely buoyant, and
No.
we are not.
Not to like.
Too
To my own horse, yeah, exactly.
I'm not to blow my own bubbles here.
But one time I was floating down a river with exactly 1 foot of water between me and the ground, and I was the only one floating.
Jesus.
Still, it was great.
So if the ship goes down, you
I'll
guys don't
probably
need to
be
be in the
fine.
lifeboat.
No, I'd like
Yeah,
to be
like,
in the
you're good.
lifeboat.
We'd still be fine. Besides the.
Like I've been holding
And
on to the side
hypothermia.
poles my
Yeah.
whole life.
Do you think it's cold over here? I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
I
In
mean,
the
you don't
water?
want to be in this water
We
for
just
days
crossed the equator. It's got to be somewhat.
kinda-
Yes, we did
Somewhat
just
warm.
cross the equator
for the 6th time, and no
for
one
the
did
final time.
anything.
Yeah, we crossed the equator for the first time.
Sorry for that self.
It's terrible.
I love that she made the noise and everyone looked directly at me.
Yeah, everyone was like, Andrew.
Can you edit that out?
Leave that in.
Can you make it a GIF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
how both of you
thank
did that simultaneously. in the
Really?
same way. But yeah, that was a great game drive. I love safaris personally.
Yeah.
On average,
16
we've
minutes.
done a safari every 5 years, and I'd like to keep that tradition with my mom.
We're coming next time, guys.
Yeah, obviously. you
Sponsor
pay
us,
your own way,
Africa.
but yes.
Africa. The continent.
There was that one woman from the African Tourism Board was on board.
Do they give deals?
I don't know, maybe. But so there was this woman on board. She went on an 11-day one. You could do a hot air balloon. You could sleep with the lion. Like, not sleep with the lions.
I was like, yeah.
Sleep, like,
Adjacent
outside
lion
next to the
adjacent.
lion. Yeah. And I was like, that one sounds real nice. And then also, the game drive calls had heated seats, and I was like, ooh.
So fancy.
It is. Also, definitely go in the winter, not the summer, because the winter is actually like when the animals are like out about, and they have the babies. Oh, and we saw baby zebras. We love.
Baby zebras.
Yeah, baby zebras.
And you went on the Royal.
I did go on the Royal. Controversial. I know.
For sure.
But
Okay, you had fun. Worth it.
I had a great time. And you know what? They didn't leave me.
You right to the...
Yeah.
Right to the escape. What a beautiful segue.
What a beautiful
We can head
segue.
straight
Yes.
there.
Head
Well, yeah,
straight
we
there.
didn't talk about you in South Africa, though.
I stayed on the ship and was sad. Just kidding. I mean,
She was sad until we got to the escape.
and then I got wine and my friend's back. I did 2 different game drives in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth and Mosul Bay. Port Elizabeth one arguably was better.
Mm-hmm.
People and experience. Although Mosul Bay, I had friends in the car. We also had a jerk who was in the car with us, and it kind of tainted it.
Mm.
And then I also thought I was going to puke. So,
Okay, well, yeah.
not the highlight, that
But
game drive.
if you puked, would more animals come?
Great question.
Okay.
John.
Like,
Strategy.
chum in the water.
Ooh,
Damn
we
it. I'll do
should.
that next time.
Yeah.
Just start screaming, I'm on
Female
my
fun
period, even if you're not, because the animals will just
Smell the
know.
blood. They'll just know. They know what it means.
So,
I'm on my period!
Why?
I need to learn what Afrikaans is for I'm on my period.
To text someone right
Yeah.
we have
Resident South
contacts,
Africans.
yeah.
I'll put it in the group
No.
chat.
Goose will be like, what are they doing?
It is what it is. It'll be fine.
We don't need to learn that for 5 more years.
There we go.
When we go back on safari.
Yeah.
And then Cape Town day 1, ship arrived. And then I went off into the Victoria and Albert waterfront and got lunch. And then made my way back to the ship for our escape, which is a royal escape. We get 4 included as Ultimate World Cruisers. This was our...
Do we get full?
Mm.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get more.
No,
Not
we
to
weren't.
be like every
No, it's supposed to
Facebook.
be- No, we were always
supposed to get
No,
4.
we missed one.
We missed
Yes,
it, and they
but we were-
added South Africa to replace it.
Yeah, we were initially
that was
only
their
supposed to get 4.
Yeah, because we missed Turkey, so they put in South Africa.
Supposed be
Not
access
to
most
be
people.
every single Facebook user
Do it.
on it. I do not think this escape was equivalent to the escape we were promised.
I don't
No,
disagree with you.
Yeah.
Not to be a Royal Caribbean apologist,
but
I think that was the best option was wine tasting in Cape Town when we looked at this itinerary.
When you look at the place that they had to make.
What about a game drive? Hello, what is it? What is the South African
Like Kruger?
barbecue?
Oh, a
Braai.
burger?
Yeah,
Braai
why not
would
a
have been
giant
cool.
braai?
Yeah, I will say, a game drive with a braai at the end
would have been
would have
awesome.
definitely
That would feel very South
been much better,
African.
to be honest.
It would have been better. I think it would have also been a shit ton more money that they weren't wanting to do,
They've saved so much money by us skipping Petra,
Yeah,
which wasn't included
which
excursion.
would have been a world
Wonder.
yeah.
wonder. They should have put that to use.
And they
for-
didn't have a private console.
Valid.
Yes, because we were supposed to in Ephesus have a private concert in ruins. Like, how cool would that?
Privately, like there at night.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
So-
would have been magic.
Which most of our experiences, with the exception of like Christ the Redeemer and like Machu Picchu, has been Chichen Itza, has been relatively private. I
Yes.
feel like, where it's just world cruisers
Mhm.
there, which we did have with this escape.
Yeah. So the
We'll
escape
see.
was
But-
so. It was
Actually,
go ahead.
it was not private, and I only know that because I came in late. But
And they
What do
weren't
you mean it was
checking
not
anything.
private?
I mean, I came in and there were like a bunch of other dinos.
Yeah, there were other people on the property.
Yeah, there were other people on
On
the
the
property.
property, but not back by where we
No,
were.
like super
No,
close.
that's more like a wedding venue.
Yeah.
On the other side of
Then-
like, you know where Mike and Nancy and them were eating outside where we were trying to eat?
Yes.
Just not too far from them was a whole patio of people at a restaurant.
Yes, because a whole bus like trooped through there.
Awkward.
Yes, but let's paint the scene.
So,
of the
okay.
escape.
So escapes.
Thank you.
So as full world cruisers, we qualify for 7 included World Wonders excursions. One of those was Petra, which we lost. We hate it.
As long as you're platinum.
As long as
Yeah.
you were platinum before summer of last year. But then everybody who's full 9 months world cruiser, you booked as one big 9-month cruise, gets 4 escapes.
Which was
included.
added on last minute because people complained.
Correct, because they were trying to make up for why did we pay so much more money for this for one world cruise, and you're not giving us enough. So it was kind of an added like, no,
Well,
it's
that
worth
was
it
because
A
they
piece.
broke it down into 17 cruises, and they realized you could book significantly cheaper.
in theory.
No,
Well,
I did
there's
the
been
math.
case studies.
There happened.
Especially if
So-
you're a high enough level where you get like the free drinks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, it didn't make sense
Yeah,
to do
from
it.
a pinnacle standpoint,
Yeah.
it almost
Yeah.
makes sense.
For me, it would have been more money when I added in other
Correct.
stuff.
Yeah.
But so we get these escapes. So it's a winery. We did a wine tour in Uruguay. All of us fucking loved it. We all want to move to
It was
Uruguay.
really
It was a
good.
wonderful experience. We went to different wineries. So they split up probably 600 of us across at least 2, maybe 3 wineries.
I think it was
I think it was
closer to
3.
4.
Okay, 3 or 4 wineries in
Yeah.
Uruguay. So you had about 100, 150 people at each winery. Where for this one, we all were going to the same location at the same time. So they brought in buses. Yes.
I do wonder if people complained about being separated, and that's why they tried to stick us all together too, because they do react to us pretty well, and if there is loud enough voices in one specific area as something that they haven't already changed, they do listen.
Counterpoint, they just did not have enough time to plan. And they were like, let's just stick everyone in one.
Also
Either.
So they took us to Pruitt Costanza.
Great pronunciation.
Well done.
Thank you.
It is
my Afrikaans.
Spelled like you would pronounce it Groot, like from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think there was a U in it though.
As we
No.
learned,
Groot.
Um,
But Ami told us it is Pruitt Costanza.
she'd be so proud of you and your pronunciation. So we go up. A bunch of us had waited to be on the same bus together, so we're all together, which obviously makes things better. And we walk in, and it's stunning. It's beautiful. There's other people milling about. They show us where to go, and straight away
They preface it with the bus ride over telling us about Dutch colonialism and all of the terrors of that, and the South Africa has a very colorful history. So they tell us all these things, and then we get to the winery.
Also, before we get there, there are also signs about warning of baboons. Which, side note, I have a fear of any wild animal. Baboons being near the top. And Allie scared me.
I didn't know. I just said where, and then Angie death gripped my arm and was like,
Because Jenny said baboons because she saw the sign. And I thought she meant they were there.
imminent.
Makes sense.
Like,
And I about jumped on Allie's shoulders. But as we were walking in, we see beautiful period costumes. Think Bridgerton vibes.
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
actually,
yes,
is better.
yes.
Because there was that big long speech about how King Louis had.
That's part of the speech I missed.
Wait, what did? Oh,
Oh.
yes, how King Louis loved Constantia wine.
Yeah, but that's in the middle.
So
I'm
did
like
Napoleon.
going forward. So did
Napoleon was a
Napoleon.
big fan of
Okay.
Constantia wine.
Maybe I have questions
is
about
pretty
their
cool.
taste now, but I
I
digress.
would have liked to actually hear the speech.
I
So
did not
would have
hear-
everyone.
heard it.
But
I was happy to have missed it.
Continue.
We're jumping
What
ahead.
did we see?
There's so much.
Who
We-
did we see
we
in
saw-
these period costumes?
Actors in these costumes. And there were both white actors and black actors. And it felt inappropriate. There's no other way to say it. It felt really.
It felt really weird.
felt really strange.
very uncomfortable. Because we just heard all about, oh, yes, the Dutch colonialism is so bad. It's so terrible. Here's the farm. Here's the history. Look what everyone dressed like. But that's not
And
what
it
everyone
wasn't-
dressed like.
1 or 2.
No.
It was
a
like
lot.
10 to 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
It
weird.
just felt super weird.
Because
Did
we
we
don't-
upload those pictures already?
Of the...
Of
No.
the winery?
Because I was not going to post the costumed actors.
That's
Someone
fine.
else has posted the costume though.
Yeah, they're online. You can find them.
Yeah.
And like
I was
when,
just curious.
when we think about it, they're actors. They want to be paid. So of course they shouldn't have just cast historically accurate people. But it just felt
And maybe we're
super
reading too much
weird.
into it. Maybe we're just too aware and putting too much emphasis on it, but it did feel awkward.
So I had a very different introduction
Yes,
to
you tell us.
the actors. So what happened was, because I was on a row excursion that came in late, I showed up about 30 minutes, maybe 45.
Probably 45.
Yeah, closer to 45 to an hour after everybody. So everyone's already seated.
And we were the last bus.
Oh,
so
well,
some
yeah.
people were probably there even.
Yeah.
Even longer.
So everyone was already seated at these long
Crazy.
tables.
Think Great Hall Harry Potter
Yes.
tables.
Like, you were shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip with people. Like, there was no space between each other.
No good way to get even into a chair.
No, it was super loud, super condensed. They had not started tasting the wine, and keep in mind, I'm an hour late.
I had already had all my wine.
Okay. But I'm an
Mine
hour
was just
late.
yours.
And the people next to me because they didn't show up.
Well, then I had to get my wine
gotta
refilled
get
because...
Somebody's.
So- So,
Me.
and as I come in, there's this guy talking, but his talking sounds like this. So, Andrew.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Exactly.
Well, I was like, I hope that translates over to
It should.
the thing.
And then occasionally people shushing. the
Yes,
rest
and
of
then
the-
people would like clap to try and
Oh
correct
yeah,
it.
the clapping and the shushing.
So I'm sitting there, confused, tired, because I've just come off like a 3-hour flight.
Right.
Don't know what's happening. And then I hear like cheers and clapping, and I turn around and I see people in period costumes coming through these very small aisles. And I'm like, it's also hot in the room. Like, it is super hot.
We asked to sit outside.
Yeah.
We asked to sit outside.
So did we, and they said no. So, like,
They didn't want us to miss anything.
yes. So you're seeing, like, just these. And to me, the actors seemed unending. Like, they just kept coming. And then they started doing the little dancing with Bridgerton where they, like, hold the two hands up and go in a circle.
Yes.
And it was very much a fever dream. I was like, what is
It
going
was
on?
just very weird because they told. Oh, yes.
And then they started playing, like, Havana, but, like, in a classic.
It was
Oh.
Bridgerton. It was like it was current pop music, but acoustic.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
a
strings.
full
Yeah, she was
orchestra.
on a string. Yeah, there was like several,
We could have done a
Instrumentals.
line dance to it.
Yeah.
We know a line dance for every song.
but it was just very
no.
awkward because we had asked to sit outside and they were like,
No,
"No,
just
that's
staring at
fine."
the seas. Line dancing.
I'm speaking. We're trying not to speak over each other.
We were speaking.
So me and Angie are gonna have a conversation.
We're
Just
never-
guard your mic. It's
Poor
Gonna,
podcast listeners.
gonna have to buy it. Like,
Dear gentle listeners.
Well, now I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, we wanted to sit outside, and they were like, "Yes, that's fine." And then 3 seconds later, another woman comes up and was like, "No, everyone has to sit inside. I'm in charge." And we're like, "Okay." So they shuffle us inside. There's 3 wines poured.
Small pours.
Yes, small pours. But there's no, are we supposed to drink now or are we supposed to drink later? So we all start drinking because what else are you going to do?
It's a wine tasting.
There's also no food
There's
except for
no-
fruit in the floral arrangements.
I come in and they've already eaten all of the floor arrangements.
Allie was convinced Jenny was going to eat a styrofoam apple.
Well, because my mom was very much a styrofoam fruit person from Pier 1. So I was like, Jenny's going to bite into this and it's going to be foam. And I'm going to say I told you so.
Any apple and flower arrangement I've ever seen
It's
is styrofoam.
But no, it was a real apple, thankfully. So people are pulling like the oranges out of the things. Christian and Andrew are eating apple. Like everyone was just started eating what was available. They brought out exactly 1 tray of something.
There were 3 pass-arounds that came later.
Well,
Way
and they
later.
ran out in 10 minutes.
And they didn't know what they were. So we have people in our group who have food allergies. And asked
Right.
like, oh, does this have XYZ? And the woman said, I don't know. So,
And she said, "You're fine."
yeah. So the people with food allergies were
Couldn't eat
SOL
anything.
and had to find their own food, which they were able to find a cheese plate
Oh, good.
later.
Didn't they have to directly ask
They
for that?
definitely did, yeah. But it was just odd. I was drinking, and all the wine was already poured. So
Right.
all these little wine pours are down, and not every seat is full.
They're aerating and they're being
Mm.
exposed to oxygen, which maybe did not help the wine.
Well, I didn't want to waste the wine, so I was taking other wines before we realized they would just top you up, and I didn't have to steal.
They wouldn't top you up. They would refill to the small portion unless you like wine up and
Yeah,
like
but
fill
everyone
me
learned,
up.
"Hey, bud," to
Yes.
the rim, and then everyone had a great time.
Yes.
And we all excused ourselves, walked through the museum, and just sort of stood
weird.
outside.
And it was beautiful. Like
The
the,
weather was
actual
awesome.
winery.
Stunning.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, stunning. Yes.
Although I do want to say, not to be nitpicky,
Be
but
nitpicky.
devil's advocate, why choose a winery excursion in winter? Because everything's dead.
Yeah.
Which is funny because actually that's the second one because it was also winter when we were
Yes.
there.
So, like, it was beautiful. The grounds were stunning.
Yes.
But
But
when
the
you look
plants-
out to the vineyards, they're all dead.
I will say, as someone who lives in wine country, that's just part of it. Yeah, Oregon is a great wine culture. Because of climate change, we will be the new Napa Valley in 10 years.
Perfect.
And
Buy a
too-
property now.
Yeah, well, it's already too much. But I would say, like, I still think a vineyard is beautiful, even if there are not grapes on the vines. Like, I hear you, like, it could have been prettier, But also, like, you go to vineyards year round, not just like in the peak growing season.
I also don't drink wine, so
That's true. Which is why we called you over so I could have yours. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We were so happy when you walked in. We were like, we have seats. Come
Yes.
here.
Well,
That
no.
was
So like, I'm being like, I am here for the aesthetics.
We're there for the vibes.
And your friends.
Yes, and my friends.
And because that's where the bus took you from the
Well,
airport.
yeah,
You had no
yeah,
other option.
Really good choice.
Did they give you an option? Like, if people
Yeah,
wanted?
you could go back to the ship, but because we went from the airport to the venue, there was also an issue getting from the venue back to the ship because all of well, and at first they said we can't keep anything on the bus. Like, you
You're
have to
supposed to
bring
bring
your
a
luggage in. And can you imagine that
No.
space
Oh my god.
with like, because I think there were like 80 to 100 people. Like finally,
luggage.
yeah, and like
That would not have
nobody
been-
packed light for this like 3-day trip. Guilty. I did not pack light.
Well,
I
you
had
don't know
grit.
what you're gonna
Did you
need.
take your July suitcase?
I did not
Fine.
because I wanted wheels.
Give me your suitcase, July. I'll take it everywhere.
No, I wanted wheels.
Oh.
And also my July suitcase was in an inaccessible spot.
I see.
So it was just quick access. But we ended up being the last bus out of the winery.
So we
That's
went
it.
on random buses that you're like assigned a number, like a regular excursion. But then it was very much like a free for all. Like, oh no, if you want to go back, just hop on a bus.
Well, I think
Which-
they realized that
Uh-huh.
we were not.
Having a good time.
I also love the not to rush you, keep drinking your wine, enjoy the museum, but in 15 minutes you have to be out.
Oh, we were way gone by that.
We were
announcement.
way gone by
That was the funniest announcement to me. In 15 minutes. Not to rush you, but in 15 minutes you have to leave.
They should have fooled us after like maybe 2 hours. And this was supposed to be from what, 3 p.m. to 7. And it was probably 5. And they were like, okay, if you'd like to go back to the ship, there are buses available. And it was a mass exodus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So Uruguay wins
Yes.
You're great.
For sure.
For the one.
From
For
an
the
escape
winery.
standpoint.
from an escape.
Well,
Yes.
because we missed out on Taiwan 101 because they didn't give us the tickets. We had no idea it was happening. And we missed out on the tickets from the first one because they didn't give us the tickets for Uruguay either
No.
until we went on there and asked.
Yeah, we were like, hey, everybody keeps talking about this escape tomorrow in Montevideo. We're Platinum. We would like to go. And they're like, oh, yeah, here, just show up. So then people weren't really talking so much about the Taiwan one.
Because we had just been to Hong Kong.
Everyone was
kinda
tired. So then we are on the train from Keelung to Taipei. And Ami and Gustav message us and they're like, hey, where are you guys? And we're like, what do you mean? We're
I
on
was
the
like,
way to
I'm on a-
Taipei.
I'm on a train. Like, what are you
Yeah, and they're like, no, there's a royal excursion today included. And we were pissed because I really did enjoy our day in Taiwan.
I think we honestly had a better day than we would have. But
still, we paid for these things. I would like,
because they made error.
yeah, they made an error.
And we opted out of that one.
Yes.
And we were on a
You
food.
guys didn't.
We were on a
thought we
historical
went away.
food.
My
Taipei tour.
mom doesn't like heights.
Very
And being on the 99th floor of a building,
Mm-hmm.
not a good call.
Yeah.
However, what I heard from very reliable sources,
Mhm.
aka my dinner table mates, who I
Mhm.
love and adore,
Hey, we love.
they said it sucked. That's
Really?
paraphrasing, but they had really nothing positive to say. Because what it is, it's the 99th floor of a building. It's not huge, and they had
Right.
everybody in all at once.
Mm,
They had like little appetizers, but no place to sit down. It was all past apps.
I
And they had a show, but the problem is when you have a show where everyone's standing,
you can't see.
people
really.
can't see. So it was kind of like a lot of.
So we're not doing great on escapes. We actually
We
just
are
have
not.
one good one.
Yeah.
When is our next escape?
Cork.
It's going to be Ireland.
Oh,
The
the.
Jameson
The
distillery.
Jameson
Which I'm
distillery.
really excited for.
I am
Me too.
excited.
I'm
for
going
that
to
one.
the Butter Museum.
What? You can make your own butter. You don't need to go. to
She
the
probably
butter
already
museum.
has.
I have made my.
See?
But I like butter. And I'm still going to the escape after. 'cause
Okay,
it's like
good,
in the
good.
evening. But
No.
if it's between whiskey and butter, I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Wait,
going
so
to
what did
butter.
you
go.
guys end up doing in Taipei? You went on a
We
food
did a
tour?
foodie, a Royal Caribbean foodie one. So I opted out because Ginny was on board.
Yes.
So she didn't qualify. My friend who came for the short sailing, so she didn't qualify. And I also don't love heights and don't really care about another tall building in a
It
city.
was also
Right.
like a very cloudy day that day, so
Yes.
the view
You
wouldn't have been
couldn't really
incredible.
Yeah.
see.
So we did a food and historical Taipei
Yes.
tour, which was really great.
Also
I love
good.
Taipei.
It was good. It wasn't as foodie as I thought. It was more historical.
Yeah, I was surprised with the level of historical for like what was built as a foodie tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And were you just handed the sandwiches like immediately?
On the bus?
No, like you're standing in the market and you just get handed a sandwich.
No. We didn't go to the
What?
market. So Lindsay, Ginny, and I decided we didn't need to go to the market. We found a coffee shop that had really good looking cakes and lattes and sat there for an hour instead.
Interesting. So what happened was we're on the bus and the guy is like, okay, we're going to get to this market and like then walk through a temple, but you're gonna start out with a cake. So we all get off the bus and we're like, cake, 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 cake.
Was this before or after the peanut spring roll?
This is the peanut spring roll.
Oh, so we had that on the bus.
No, we get out and we're like, okay, time for cake. And this woman comes up with this box. And she's like kind of looking panicked. And we're like, okay. And she's like, here it is. And then we get handed a vegan tofu peanut roll, which I love. Like, I love a good spring
It was
roll.
delicious.
It's very good. But when you're expecting cake,
It's
and you
not
get
the same.
handed a
spring
spring
roll.
roll and a thick spring roll.
Really?
Yeah,
It
thick.
was so good.
I would
Like-
picture like Olympia size.
No, like picture a Coke can.
Holy cow.
Closer to a burrito.
Yeah, it was a burrito.
That's
It was
cool.
delicious.
Yeah, that is cool.
But you're also like, actually,
not cake.
where's my cake?
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
fair.
that was the only free food that we got.
Lunch.
Well, and lunch. But I'm saying, like, beyond that, any
Or
other
food
food.
tour.
Yeah, because it was food
Yeah,
and store.
any other food
Yeah.
we wanted, we bought.
Yeah, the foodie tour we did in Busan was better food.
Oh my god.
LRB and I have done a few foodie tours together because
Sounds like good food.
I loved every single thing about that food tour. I loved the food. I loved the men cooking the food for you.
Ooh.
I loved the amount of food. I loved the variety of food. I loved how good the food was. I loved the vibes. I loved the men at the K barbecue cooking the food. Did you get one of the really cute ones?
I was just focused on the sesame kimchi.
Okay,
Fair.
I was not.
I really liked it.
I was focused on literally everything else.
It was
So incredible. Like, they come up, snip, 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 cut it, flip it. And you're like, thank you. I have never touched a tongue in my life. I cannot- I can't turn these little pieces of meat that you've cut them up. It's so good.
See.
No, they did it for you. Like,
I
if
did
you
struggle with hot pot in Korea as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. I love Busan.
So yeah, I would say all in all, South Africa Escape. What do we say? 3 out of 5.
Oh.
3 out of 5.
I
is
was a
way
3 out
too
of 10.
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
I would say it's pretty bad.
Like,
Location, beautiful.
yeah,
Everything else, huge miss.
but I'd say the location was stunning, but they overcrowded it.
Yeah.
I just meant the
Four.
grounds. Not even so much like when we were packed in there. Like the actual winery itself, beautiful. The way they had a sardine in there, no. The lack of food, the lack of vibe. I mean,
Yeah.
we still had fun because it was
Yeah.
us, but
Maybe a 4 out of 10.
We also may have been the detriment of other people's enjoyment because we were loud and having fun, which sometimes
Well,
party poopers don't like to see other people
You
having
gotta remember fun.
you gotta remember fun.
fun, especially when there's wine involved.
Fun, fun.
Okay.
I would say the high was definitely our Gustav Cape Town tour. That was just really fun to all be together. It felt very movie-esque. I don't know. The weather was perfect. We had snacks. We had drinks. Gustav was riding us around. We got to see baby penguins. And we were just all together. So it was probably one of my favorite days on the cruise so far.
And what was your low in the recent little last bit?
I don't know that I would even say like low necessarily, but the Angola tour was different.
Yeah.
It was still good because we had good people. Do I wish that I had saved the $140?
A
Yes.
little. Yeah.
LRB?
I think the high is definitely like. I was gonna say the Gus Bus, but then I was like, I bought a 40-pound wooden hippo. And that's my
Yes.
high.
That's fair.
I love a good wooden hippo, so I was really happy with that.
Who doesn't?
I'm so sorry.
What's your low?
I think my low. We missed a couple of ports.
Yeah.
Which, like, that kind of sucked. And some of the ports, I wish maybe I had chosen a different tour than the one I had chosen.
The shrub.
The shrub. But every tour has a high point.
Yeah. It's never
I
like a
mean,
total
on the shrub tour, I got my wooden hippo, so, like,
Made the most of it.
made the most of it.
beauty
If
for
high and
ashes.
low are the same
They're connected.
There you go.
You can't have the highest high without the lowest low.
Ooh, put it on a pillow.
Add it to our list of merch.
Yeah.
Okay, my high would definitely be day 2 in Cape Town with the Gus Bus tour. I'd been to Cape Town before, and so I'd been to the places, and so I was like hesitant to go back.
We had to talk her into.
I know.
Bullied her into
Positive peer pressure, but truly, like, it was so fun because it was the group in the van, and like Gustav just really put so much effort into making sure we had fun that it was just precious because he is a precious human anyways, but like that was really nice just how thoughtful everything was, and it was just like it felt like a road trip. Like I feel like we kept talking about it, like
movie montage.
it felt
Yeah, it really
yes,
was.
just like road trip vibes. My low, it was a great day, was my Namibia excursion. It was overall a great day. I don't like wild animals, and I was on a tour where a seal literally got in the boat, and then we had pelicans on the boat. And I know that probably sounds like dumb because it was probably like Anthony's highlight,
Right.
but it just makes me anxious because I felt like I had nowhere to go on that smallish boat
Right.
where there wasn't a wild animal that I was afraid was going to bite me.
Seals were
Right.
huge.
The
so,
seals were huge, and the
no
pelicans'
bother.
beaks are huge and sharp. And so
Right.
once there was no more wildlife on our boat and we could just view the wildlife out in the ocean, I was much happier.
Good.
I just really, my anxiety level like spiked.
Yeah.
So that's me.
What's yours?
And Andrew.
You've been very quiet this episode.
Yeah.
I'm always quick.
No.
Hair tuck.
So I think my high like really has been since Cape Town. I feel like everyone's been significantly more together.
Mhm.
Like, because we just crossed 100 days left, and I think everyone's just hyper aware.
That's my low.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're going to say goodbye at some point and like go back to somewhat normal life. It's kind of
Never were too codependent.
so it's like that's
Get
the
that
high,
book.
It's the high and the low because like the high is we're forcing ourselves to like be with each other more, which is creating more memories and like that's super fun. And I love that, and it's a thing I didn't expect to be great about the cruise. But then at the same time, it's like I'm overwhelmed with thinking about like what is life going to be like after this trip,
Mhm.
and I'm becoming more and more aware of like how do I make money and how do we go back to normal life and how do we see each other
Right.
after we get back home. Like how can I afford 17 Disney trips in 1 month?
Disney sponsor us?
Please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mickey Mouse? I had you tattooed on me.
I don't, but I will get one if that's what it takes.
If that's what it takes. Sold.
Sold.
No. But yeah, it's been I'm just getting a little bit more emotional, I think, as time goes by.
Yeah. I was texting with Emily, who is one of our friends who was on from Miami to Dubai. So she's back home now, and we miss her.
Yes.
Although she's coming back from Amsterdam to Miami.
Yay, I
We're
can't
excited.
wait.
And I was like, how's the adjustment going? And she's like, I just keep busy so I don't have to think about how sad it is. And I was like, okay, great. We're going to need advice
A lot. of
when
advice.
we all get to Miami. She's like, that's my advice. Just ignore it. I was
Time
like,
for me to go to
cool.
law
Exactly, nothing
school.
ever happens.
She said, also
Wait,
just
who's going
don't
to law
leave the
school?
ship.
Nice and me. That'll keep me busy.
I was like, oh, God. So we might have to just become squatters.
Yeah.
This is my cabin now.
Do we have Scrottle sprites?
I think we have
Absolutely.
squatters.
Can someone tell me?
International law?
Let us know. International squatters.
Let me message my lawyer.
On board.
My onboard. She's currently off board.
Are they off?
They're coming back in Ravenna. They're in Greece.
Nice.
But yeah, my
That's
lawyer
the
on
other thing
retainer.
that's been nice. Is like
Everyone's off the ship.
Yeah, like the ship feels like it's mine. You know, like it just feels like home. It doesn't feel.
It's because it's Papa's private yacht.
It's what it feels like.
Aw.
We just all live here. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
We just all live in the same giant floating apartment building. And right now there's less tenants, and it just feels really fun.
It's awesome.
I am slightly worried for the next one when we have 2,200 plus.
And right now we're at what 800.
Yeah.
What,
And like 0
750?
sea days too for like stupid shit that we like to do.
Oof.
Which
Yeah.
like the point of this trip is to see the world, which we are doing.
Yeah.
But we also really, really enjoy the days when we're just on ship being dumb together.
Yeah, like it's been
Exactly.
really fun to just hang out and be silly and do
Yeah.
this and
All the
go to
specialty dining.
Giovanni's. Like,
That's the other thing that's been awesome is all the specialty dining since
Yeah.
Cape Town. Being ripping through it.
we've been ripping through. Well, because it's a weird. So when they didn't sell out the entire cruise as a full world cruise, they sold it as 17 individual mini sailings.
Which has created a Groundhog Day effect.
Right. But also you could opt to get onboard credit every single sailing.
But you had to read the fine print for that one. Because there was the two options.
Yes, you could either get like chocolate covered strawberries every
Well,
time.
when you start a new sailing, you get certain perks as a certain tier.
Yes, that's what it is.
It was giving you the monetary value of the gifts you would receive at the beginning of a sailing.
Yes, so you could either choose to get like chocolate-covered strawberries, a bottle of champagne, or you could choose to get $125 of onboard credit a person for sailing.
Yeah, that's
I mean, but we get the onboard credit, and so sometimes we use them for excursions, but most of the time on sea days we go out to dinner with our friends. And
Although we should have been going out to lunch.
we should have gone out to lunch.
We learned out
Much
today.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Much cheaper.
Half the price.
Significantly so.
Big question for the day. If you are going on a tour, do you tend to book royal excursions or a private independent company excursion? Hot seat, Allison, go.
I feel like Andrew has to go first.
I don't want to go first.
Go first.
I don't want to go first.
Okay, fine. We don't typically do booked or scheduled tours either way. Like the royal tours we do are typically the included ones. And then if we do book a private tour or things like that, it's something we either really, really, really want to see or all of our friends are going and so it would just be a good time. Because they're usually very pricey and most of the time you're just paying for transportation. So Andrew and I do a lot of walking, making a list of the things that we do want to see and either trying to train or walk or maybe Uber if they have it in that country because we save a lot of money that way. So we're not big tour people in general. So that's my spiel.
Andrew, you got to follow up?
Anything to add?
Been very quiet.
He is quiet.
Oh, it's fine.
Hey, salty at me.
It's serious.
Marital fights. Put it on the agenda.
Put it on the agenda.
No, like, I
Therapy.
think like when it comes to excursions, like it's really up to you. Like we had this conversation with my mom earlier, where I was like, we don't do a lot of excursions because again, most of the time feels like you're paying for transportation. But there have been a lot of points in this trip where I'm like, sometimes it is worth it to do the royal and pay a little bit more money because that's the decision you're making is do I want to pay a little bit more but having guaranteed experience and a guaranteed I'm getting back on board, which is a big like fear factor point, or do I want to save some money and basically roll the dice to see like what I'm going to get, which is what it's felt like on board. And so it's like we've done some tours, but most of the time we've had better luck just getting a taxi just to where we need to go. So we typically don't. But I still think Royal has their...
Well, it's nice to do a royal tour when you don't have to think about it. You just show up, they give you a number, you're not in charge, it's like autopilot. They tell you exactly where to go, you know you're going to make it back to the ship on time. It's very low stress.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't do a lot of them.
Yeah. I do tend to do quite a bit. I've done quite a few tours to this point. I know in Europe I will do a lot less of them because it's a lot more of just like you're in a place where you can easily walk and your port will actually be in the city, not 2 hours away from the city. I tend to do more royal than independent because it is like safer, and I don't mean physical safety, I mean like logistically safe. They have to wait for you. Where with an independent one, although some of them do also make that guarantee that if you miss, they'll figure out how to get you there. It doesn't feel the same level of safety, like again in that like logistical safety. And sometimes like Ali said, like you just don't want the decisions. I have incredible decision fatigue at this point, and I just want to be like the passenger princess sometimes. And so with an excursion, I can just be a passenger princess. And so for me, that's worth it. As like a solo traveler, even though like yes, family's on board, but we do very little together. So really, like in my daily out and about life, I'm a solo traveler, right? So for me, it's worth it.
So as someone who basically has only done royal, I think I can count on one hand how many private excursions I've done, and I think the answer is 2 or 3. So like basically none. No, I've done 3 non-royal excursions. One of those I had the police called on me. So and then the other 2
In Hawaii.
Ironically.
You had the police called on you?
Yeah, I did.
Story
Put it on the
for
agenda.
another time.
Put it on the agenda.
But the other 2 went great. That one went horribly. So like, we did royal for a couple of reasons. One, super easy. You have limited choices. Well, you don't have limited. You usually have like 3 to 10.
Right.
You choose it. You're good to go. You show up. If it gets canceled, instant refund. No problem. If it gets changed, refund. They adjust it. No issue. You're not calling someone. You're not trying to email them.
Right.
You know what you're going to see. And also, we paid for these 2 years ago
Right.
when they first came out. So to us,
Girl math.
they're free. You know, like, those credit card cycles have already come and gone. So,
Right.
like, it's done, it's sold. Logistically, you know you're not going to get left. You know, in some places where there might be some safety concerns, Royal is going to do
Everything
to keep you safe. Because the optics of them having a tour that goes bad is bad. So, you know, like, are some of the tours unexciting? Yes. I will not lie. Some of the tours are not, like, the most exciting ones. However, I would also say, like, that's an argument you can make for even a private tour. That, like,
Right,
even one that
sometimes-
sounds really good on people,
They're a bust.
yeah, could be a bust.
Single.
I think like when it comes to making the decision on like which would be better, to me it comes down to, is it more commonly a cruise port or not?
Yes.
If it's not a common cruise port, I'm going with Royal.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm getting back. I know I'm going to have a good experience because they at least have some kind of standard that I know will be better. But if I'm going somewhere where it's like Alaska or Cancun or something like that, where it's
Pretty
gonna
common.
be pretty common, or it's a normal place for like even Europe, they are ready to handle tourists,
Right.
and they can honestly give you just as good or better for less money.
Yeah.
It just depends on where I think you are.
Well, and a lot of this Africa segment, it is brand new for Royal, so they don't, or some of them have never accommodated a cruise ship of 2,000, well, for 800, but even that is like
Still a lot of
overwhelming to
people.
them to show up. So,
Like, just getting all of the buses there alone. That's a huge one.
yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Will I say, like, do I wish maybe we had done some different ones? Yes. And to be fair, like, 2 years ago, we tried to book private excursions. In
Is it too
addition,
far out?
no, we would have them, everything would be good, and then, like, in November before we left, they all got canceled.
That's annoying.
So that's why we actually switched over to All
Royal.
Royals, because we gave it a shot.
In your opinion, what makes a tour a good tour?
Funny tour guide.
Incorrect for me.
Oh, see, I think you have to have a personable tour guide. Like, you don't want a tour guide who doesn't talk, but you also don't want one who, like, talks too much.
I don't want a jungle cruise camper for my.
Valid.
If they're funny, I don't mind one, but, like,
I want an informative tour.
Yeah, like, I want an informative one who's also funny.
See, to me, it's not even so much about humor. I want facts and information about the place without being like you're reading for Wikipedia, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I like a tour where you have more than 20 minutes at most locations, unless it is
Valid.
literally just a photo stop or a bathroom break. But sometimes it just often
Feels right.
feels like you are on a bus for an hour. You have 20 minutes to get off the bus, see the thing, and get back on the bus. And that sucks.
But counterpoint, sometimes they have too long
yes.
at places where you're like, this could actually be 20 minutes.
Yeah. I have yet to find a sweet spot.
I think I wish when you have a smaller tour, you have flexibility where that can shift, which is where I think like Gustav did great.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Was like, because we were even at the Penguin Reserve for a while, and like we were able to like want to go get coffee and come back, and it felt super smooth. So it's like if a tour guide can have a level of flexibility and like read the room,
Yeah.
that makes a great tour.
Yes.
And then I think being able to have clear communication of like, hey, we are going to this place to check out this thing. We're going to meet back at this time.
Yeah.
And it's very clear. And then it's like,
Clear
hey, after that, we're going to go here. So you always know why you might have some shorter time. Or, hey, we're going to go to this restaurant. I recommend the beef, but you can get this. Like, things are informative and helpful. That's what I really appreciate is like good communication.
Yeah. I think that is very helpful. Because I've had lots of tours where I'm like, I know there was a description that I signed up for 6 months ago, but I have no idea what we're doing today. Like, this happened recently in Reunion Island, although we signed up for that a month ago. But there was very little communication of like, when we get to this place, this is what it is and this is what's happening. We all just sort of kept following each other to be like, what are we doing? We're just
See,
doing
and
what
I
now?
feel
On our
If
bus,
I
we were
pay
like,
for-
where am I going?
Yeah, if I pay for a tour, I need you to tell me where we're going. Like, I know that you should know that because you booked it. But I paid you for a tour. Like, tell me the details. Here's why this is important. Here's this. Like, clear communication was a big one, I think.
But like, even Angola, I'm pretty sure it changed because that moon thing I don't think was on
Not on the list.
the list.
And yeah, see, and that's the thing where it's like, hey, just tell me that.
Yeah.
just
Hey, we
say-
had an adjustment. We're gonna go here instead.
Yeah.
This is a place that I think is even better. Like, just sell me a little.
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
Be a little bit more communicator personality. I think goes
A long
way as a tour.
I think the people on the tour also matter, which is
Oh,
something
makes a big difference.
you don't always have control about.
It's a gamble.
That's
It's-
true.
That's true.
If you can stack the deck in your favor, though, it's great.
Yeah.
Group
Right.
booking.
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
helps.
Because, like, Angola, which the three of us were on, as well as Ami, Goose,
Maddie.
Maddie, Renska, and Heinrich,
hmm
felt good because it was like, okay, even if it's a crappy tour, we're with friends, we can make the most of it,
And it was so fun.
and we can have fun with it. Even when there's other people freaking out, we can roll our eyes at each other about people being silly and, like, still have fun.
Exactly.
And that makes a difference. But, like, had I been on that tour by myself,
Sucked.
I
what-
would've been very upset.
hated it.
I would have been very upset if we were on that tour by ourselves because we'd have been like, this wasn't really places that I think we signed up to see. There was no information. We asked to go somewhere for lunch that accepted credit cards. They said yes, and then they did not. So it was,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to pull together cash and
Thank you, Heinrich.
yes, thank you.
Next episode, we're going to hear more about LRB having the cops called on her on an excursion to Hawaii, as well as different experiences we've had with massages and or beauty treatments abroad. And then
Can't wait.
can't wait for that. And then potentially more on tours and where we actually have physical safety precautions or stories where we have felt maybe like, maybe I YOLO'd a little too far and I'm not making the safest choices.
YOLO too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like how to learn from our mistakes so you are also not stupid like we are. Yeah, so I think that'll be our next episode.
Yeah.
That's literally what's on the agenda.